also, if you know how to design stuff, then it can also fetch us some very good internships, freelance projects, and sometimes jobs as well. So there are various tools like Figma, Blender, through which we can create some awesome designs. So we are having a session on Blender today by Ashish Kashyap, who is a UI UX freelance designer, Figma community advocate, and a 3D designer. So if you're active on Twitter and LinkedIn, so आप लोगों ने कभी ना कभी तो आशीष की टाइनी रूम्स वाली पोस्ट तो देखी होंगी. They are very trending on Twitter and LinkedIn as well. So, Ashish, let's start the session.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you so much for
yeah.
this lovely introduction. Hi, everybody. Should I share my screen? Like, let's just get started. Mm, Yeah, let me know if it's visible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, it's visible, Ashish. Yeah,
yeah,
go on.
cool. So, let's get started with Blender. Uh, but before jumping straight into Blender, let me tell you a little more about me. My name is Ashish Kashyap, and I am a self-taught freelance designer and Figma community advocate. Uh, like right now I'm working as a freelance designer and I help startups to build their products, and in my free time I usually create digital art, and recently I just figured out this 3D space and I started creating 3D tiny rooms. Little bit more about me. I started designing back in 2018 as a graphic designer, then discovered the UI UX later, like everybody else, and eventually shifted to UI UX designing. Fast forward 3 years, I'm working as a freelance designer with startups, as I said, and to build a beautiful product. How I started with Blender, that I started back in April 2021, and my goal with Blender was learning Blender for my UI UX projects for the 3D assets, because 3D assets are very much in trend in 2020 and 2021 as well. So I started learning Blender and realized that this software is free, but all this want from you is your time. So I started spending 5 to 7 hours learning Blender and applying Blender, and I posted my first render on 25th of April. So I started learning around 1st April and I posted my first render. So this was my first render and I posted it on Twitter. Didn't got like a lot of likes like I used to get, but I just posted it because I wanted to show my work, what I've learning. So then later I discovered Tiny Rooms. Tiny Rooms is just a 3D style. I didn't created it. It was already there. So this is known as isometric design. And in isometric design, you have to make a uh,
ब्लेंडर सिखा रहा है.
blend is so usually in isometric, you have to make designs, but you don't put so much emphasis on the realism of the isometric design. So you don't put a lot of uh, eye into details. You just create. But I tried to do the opposite. I tried making it more realistic, but I started as cartoonish. If you see this is my initial rooms. So this is very cartoonish. Then I shifted little more realistic, then more, then very realistic. So my it's evolving. I'm not settled. My design is still evolving. I'm still learning every day. But my goal was to make tiny rooms, but with a lot of details. And somebody actually quoted that in one of my comments. This look so realistic and unrealistic at the same time. Exactly what I wanted from these rooms. Then, okay, my Twitter and LinkedIn story. What happened with my Twitter and LinkedIn? So I gained around 450 plus followers in one night and 1K likes and 50K reach on Twitter in just one night. So what happened that I created this tiny room of my hostel room. So one day my roommate just called me and he said, "You are making this tiny room, so why not you make a hostel room?" So I said, yeah, that's a cool idea. So I spent some hours, 2 days, I guess. Took 2 days, and I created this tiny room of a hostel room, and I posted it on my Twitter online, and I wasn't expecting a lot of I was not expecting anything from Twitter. My goal wasn't to build an audience or something like that. I was just making this for fun. I'm a like this 3D is a hobby, still a side hobby. Uh, but what happened? That night I posted and slept. Next day I woke up and I just opened my internet connection and boom, it was a lot of chaos on my Twitter. I wasn't know what is happening, what is going on my Twitter. There are a lot of people sharing their stories. So what happened? A lot of people got connected to the tiny room, the vibe of the tiny room, this tiny room, hostel room. Everybody else started sharing their stories that ऐसा ही हमारा भी होता था. This used to be the same time, मतलब हमारा भी hostel यही था. And the thing was, a lot of people got connected to the hostel vibe, and I got this insight from this post that a lot of people don't see your details or how much you have worked. They just see the story and the connection between them and you. So they was tagging their whole, like people were tagging their roommates and they were tagging their roommates, sharing stories, and I was so a vibe of a thing in that Twitter post. Later day I posted the same. I wasn't expecting, okay, you can expect this on Twitter, but you can't expect this on LinkedIn because that's a very professional platform, I guess. But same thing happened on Twitter. It got a 40K reach in just a few hours, faster than Twitter. So this has happened with my tiny rooms, and these are some of the comments I just screenshotted. Remind me of my hostel room in this area, down to the texture to the sheets. Okay, so a lot of people actually saw the sheets of this room and they said कि यार ये तो हमारा भी ऐसे ही था. This is very engineering bed sheets. So look really similar to my hostel room. So people got connected to this room, and the next room was so I figured out कि people connecting a lot, मतलब जो similar चीजें हैं उन पे बहुत they are connecting. And then I started researching कि और क्या similar हो सकता है, and I stumbled upon the Indian kitchens. So most of kitchen looked like this. This is an Indian kitchen, and the goal with this render, this is my next render after hostel room. So the goal with this room was to push the detail bar to the next level. So I tried putting. This took me 6 days, I guess. Overall 8 days. Researching was a pretty hectic part of this because there is not a lot of information about Indian kitchens on internet, of course. So I went to my friend home, nani ke ghar, and everywhere I can find kitchens, Indian kitchens. And I took a lot of pictures and saw what is similar in all the kitchens. हर घर में क्या मतलब what is the similar things, and वो सब data collect करके I made this Indian kitchen. Again, this blew up on LinkedIn, Twitter as well. So I found out this year you have to make something similar. People can connect on some level. So let's talk about Blender. What is Blender? So Blender is an open source 3D software. I know a lot of you guys know open source still. Open source is for community. You can download it for free, use it for free, and this is backed by Microsoft, Unity, AMD, Facebook, Amazon, Nvidia. Big companies are behind it. Recently, Adobe just like backed it up also. The goal of Blender is to provide completely an open source 3D creation pipeline. मतलब you just matlab there is Blender is not limited to only 3D. You can do 2D, you can do 2D animations, you can edit a video in Blender as well. You can rig, you can make movies in it. Blender is very flexible. You can download all it from blender.org. So this is the Blender interface. When you open this, this is what you see. And I know this is very scary, more scary than Photoshop. Uh, so this is how Blender treats you when you open it for the first time. This is very scary, but trust me, this is very easy. Let's talk about 3D space. So I know this look like a math equation, but don't worry. In 3D, you are working when you are in 3D space. You are working in three dimensions: x, y, and z. Z is mostly on the straight up 90-degree. This is this side, and this is you don't have to remember this. You just have to know that there are three sides in which you are working, like in real life. And when you are working in Blender, most probably you are stumbling into So there are a lot of modes in Blender: object mode, edit mode, sculpt mode. But for the most of the time, you will be stumbling in these two modes, which is object mode and edit mode. Object mode is you in object mode uh, you can't edit the mesh. This is the mesh. Mesh is the object. You can't edit the. You have to go into the edit mode to edit the mesh. This is just simple. In mesh, you can. So in edit mode, you have the ability to like add vertices, faces, and so on. Let me explain what vertices and edges and faces are. So 3D object in any software, let it be a Blender, Cinema 4D, 4D Maya, anything, they're made up of these three things. These are the like building blocks. First is vertices. Vertices are these tiny dots, and then edges are in tiny dots को जो लाइनें जोड़ती हैं उनको edges बोलते हैं. And faces is when you fill the whole. If there are 4 or 3 uh, vertices and 3 edges, when you fill that up, you'll get a face. So this is a face. This is a vertices, and this is the edge. You'll probably modifying these three things to make things look like you want it to look like. Uh, how to add object in Blender? So if you're familiar with Figma, you know the shortcut to auto layout, which is Shift plus A. If you know, no worry. Same shortcut is used in Blender, but to open the add menu. So this is the add menu. When you Shift plus A, you get all the add menu, but you don't have to look all of it. You just have to go into mesh. In mesh, you get all the basic geometry objects, which is plane, cube, circle, UV sphere, icosphere, cycle, a cylinder, cone, torus. Pro tip: always add object in the object mode. You always have to object in the object mode when you're introducing a new object or a new geometry in your workspace. You always have to go back to the object mode. You can add the new geometry in the edit mode, but it's going to combine the existing one with the new. So if you want them separate, you have to go into the uh, object mode. I'll explain it when we get hands on in the Blender. It's all about scale and extrude. Well, 3D is very complicated. When you think of 3D, you think of big computers and a lot of things, but this is not that hard. Most of the time, 99% 99% cases, you are going to move objects, scale them, and extrude them. That's it. And these are the shortcuts. You G's, how I remember is, so you have to, when you're grabbing something, any object, when you click on it and press G, so G hold the, you select, when you have to select the object, just click on it and G, and plus GX, it going to lock it on the x-axis. Same with G plus Y, it's going to lock it on the y-axis, z-axis as well. Same goes with scale. If you want to scale an object, S plus Z, it's going to scale it in the x-axis, then Y and Z. Same with extrude. Blender modifiers. So Blender modifiers are automatic operations that affect an object's geometry in a non-destructive way. If you have worked with Photoshop, I guess, you have two options: working in non-destructive way and working in destructive way. And do something, and that is not undoable. You can't go back and do again modify the thing. Also, modifiers help you to automate a lot of mundane tasks. So if there is like this array modifier, what it does, it duplicates the objects. And when you are working with modifiers, they are not going to in real create. Let's say we are working with the array modifier and we created a duplicate of a cylinder. So in real, you can see a cylinder, but it's not introducing a real geometry in the system. With that mean that wahan pe it's like a ghost figure. It's there, but it's not going to harm your RAM would be thoda sa badega, but probably utna dega. In case agar on the flip side you introduce like you in real duplicate uh, a cylinder, it's going to add a new geometry in your RAM. So working with modifiers really like RAM को आपकी बचत करते हैं, both in the most cases, and don't get like scared. आप इनमें से कोई याद नहीं करने वाले हो. You only going to work with these modifiers, the generate modifiers. इसमें से भी there are array, bevel, and mirror, which I mostly use in Solidify. I only use 4 or 5 modifiers. Uh, these are for the high level advanced tasks. Light. So, like in real world, we need lights in Blender. In any software, in any 3D software, we need lights. So there are 4 type of lights in Blender. There is point light, sunlight, spotlight, and area light. Sunlight, point light is something like a bulb. Uh, जो point light होती है उसके एक point से light निकलती है and you can it's like a bulb. Sunlight is like we have in our universe, the sun. The light would be constant चाहे source से object जितना भी दूर रहे. बाकी सब लाइट्स में क्या होएगा, व्हेन यू पुट अ लाइट, लेट्स से आई पुट अ पॉइंट लाइट, तो वो हर एक जगह पे लाइट स्प्रेड करती है ना रेडियस. सो इफ यू प्लेस द ऑब्जेक्ट वेरी क्लोज टू द लाइट सोर्स, इट गोइंग टू इल्यूमिनेट दैट अ लॉट, बट जैसे जैसे आप उसको दूर लेते जाओगे वो इंटेंसिटी कम होती जाएगी. बट दैट इज नॉट इन द केस विद सन. लाइक इन आवर सन, यू कांट you can't reduce the intensity of the sun. Same happens in the Blender. Spotlight, like we have the stage lights, and area light is basically a rectangle or something which is emitting light. uh, for the use case, you are only going to use point light and area lights. Very less cases you are going to use sunlight or spotlight. Sunlight is very very bright. Camera. Yeah. So cam you have if you have to render a scene, you have to place a camera. So camera is like, so Blender is very similar to a real world. Like if you see the world है ना, but if when you need to take a picture, you have to take out your camera. Same goes with Blender. You can see the things in Blender, but when you have to render a thing, when you have to like export a thing, export a model, you have to take out your camera. So this is how I explain it. And Blender has only one type of camera, and you can modify anything of that camera, from apertures. If you are into cameras, you know the aperture lenses and stuff, you can do anything with into Blender. Render engines. So Blender comes with 2 render engines. Render engines are the algorithms or the softwares which are going to render your image. So there are 2 types of render engines, Eve and Cycles. This ignore this one. Eve is a real-time render engine. So how I explain real-time render engine? You have, like, a lot of you have played GTA, and GTA is a very very heavy 3D game. Ever you wondered how they are rendering? Let's say you are on a helicopter and they are rendering the space very very fast on your PC, which is not a very very high level or with high specs PC. You can like run GTA 5 in kind of any kind of PC, you know, and that rendered the whole game very very fast. And there are a lot of objects, but if you same, so what happened with the, so those kind of engines are known as gaming engines. They don't produce the light, they duplicate the light. So they are not producing the real kind of light. They are not simulating the light in the system. They are just duplicating the light. So this is how Eve or rendering gaming engine works. They are pretty fast. They are very fast, but they don't produce very realistic kind of results. Other is cycles, and 99.9% artists who are working in Blender use the cycles. Cycles is a ray tracing render engine. Ray tracing render engine is they literally produce the light, they simulate the light, and with every physics that if a beam is coming from a point light, it's going to hit that wall and it's going to bounce that according to the material of the wall. It is, if it's very metallic, it's going to reflect a lot. So it calculate a lot of things, then they produce. That's why results with cycles are very very real, and results with Eve are little uh, cartoonish. So let's fire a blender, and today we are going to make this simple scene, a tiny room with a table and a glass. Let's go. So now you'll see every keys I'm going to click on here. AVI shortcut. Oh, wait a second. AVI shortcut and anything here. So let's do it. Let me show you what we are going to create.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, how much processing power do we need for that? I mean, the basic or the minimum specs that we need to run this. I
So
mean,
it totally depends. It don't. So Blender don't ask you a lot of computing power. It totally depends on you. There is something called sampling. So if I convert it to renders, cycles, and you got this setting here, which is which is sampling. Sampling is how much details you want in and render, and the more sample you create, the less noise you get. If i if i so it's totally depends on your cycle samples. Mostly you can uh, optimize this stuff with reducing the denoising. There are denoisers here. So if you are working, so if you are on a if your system has a NVIDIA card, you can go into preferences and control like choose the optics, and you can choose the both, which is your NVIDIA card and your, like I have a AMD card, AMD chipset and NVIDIA card. So it going to use the denoiser of NVIDIA, which is optics. So what is denoiser? Denoiser reduce the light without overpowering the sample. So we don't need a lot of samples, which is good for our CPU. But denoiser is like, you have, if you have worked with Lightroom or any software, you have the bar to reduce the noise in the picture. Same, this stuff do the same. So it's totally depend. If I render on like 1,000 samples, it is going to take a lot of time, and it is probably going to heat up my system a lot. So usually if you have so I what I do, if I have to post the sample on Twitter or LinkedIn, which I know that is going to compress my image, I don't exceed the 200 samples, and it render very fast. And this is how it works. So totally depends on your render. If you're working on MacBooks and Mac OS, in Mac OS, if you have the graphic card, Blender don't work with your, it's still going to render on your CPU, which is little scary because it's going to heat your system a lot. So I hope I answered your question. It totally depends on your sample settings. If you have higher the sample, lower. If the sample is very high, it's going to produce a very sharp image, but it's going to heat your system a lot. It's going to take a lot of RAM. It's going to. So I hope you get the answer. So today we are going to create this room. This is a simple room, a tabletop, four legs, and a glass. So create this. Okay. So let's create a tiny room first. So I'll click Shift plus A and place a plane. So this is a plane, and every cube you are saying is 1 meter cube. So you have to take that in care. Uh, this is 1 meter cube, and probably I need a 4. How I work is I just click S and 4. It's going to uh, scale that up into 4 meters. 4 meters, no, 4 meters, no, 8 meters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8 meter length and breadth. Let's create the walls. For walls, we have to go in the edit mode. You can click here and go into the edit mode. When you came in the edit mode, you get a lot of other options, and you have to choose the vertices. So I'm going to choose the vertices, and I'm going to select these two vertices. I'm going to extrude it, E, Z, and 6, and enter. So now we have two walls as well. So what I did, I extruded uh, the vertices to upward. I click on E, which is extrude, then Z, which is the 90 degree, and 6, which is the 6 meters. So this is how I create a room. Uh, I don't have a camera. Okay. So now let's add a little bit depth to it. Um, but before that, we have to take care. when you are working in Blender and you modify something, you rotate it or scale it, you always have to go back in the object mode and uh, click on Control plus A and apply the scale or rotation. This
Help.
automatically, yeah.
I am also doing in Blender. I don't know how to like erase the object as there's a cube in the middle.
Huh. Okay. So when you work, like, wait a second. If I have,
Can
so I
you?
have other version of Blender. Mm, probably had that in. So this is the beta version of Blender. Okay, I don't have that in. So what you're talking about is when you enter into Blender, you get a cube.
Yeah, yeah,
Just click on it and X or something, X, which is going to delete that room.
yeah. It's deleted.
Okay. And you can set the that system. So when I entered into the Blender, if I create a new file, I don't get the basic cube. That's the default cube. So you can add, so you can basically set up the system that you don't get the file. So I don't have the cube. I can go into file and default and save it as a starter file, which is going to save this system as a starter file. So every time you enter into a Blender, you don't get that default cube, which everybody
Also,
hates.
my playback is on. How to get it
Yeah,
off?
you
Like,
can do, yeah, let me explain that. So what you are getting is this timeline. So you are getting this, you know, every time you enter into the Blender.
uh, I can see.
This down bar.
Yeah, on the down playback is like going.
So for going, you have to click Shift, and for stopping it, you have to click again Shift. And you can remove that just hover in between the lines, click on it, and join areas. Join. It will be disappear. And you can and you can set it as a starter file, so you don't get that again and again. Okay, so when you modify any object, you have to go back into the object mode and apply the scale. What that means that it's going to put that item into 0 meter. So it's not going to affect. It's not something very explainable, but you have to do it. You can face problem if you don't do this every time. So I've done that, and let's go into the object mode again. For object mode, you have to click on 10. Combo keys. Yeah. So you have to click on tab to get into the object mode. Let's click A, which is going to select everything in our scene, and right click and select face from here. So we are only going to interfere with the face and extrude along the normals, which is going to along the normals. You can see where is it? So you can see I have this from a side view now. That why I'm extruding this, I have a little like it's not very equal, I guess. There is a little, so for keeping it same, just click S. It's going to take care of the geometry. Now we have the walls and the first. Let's go into the object mode and introduce an object. When you are introducing an object, you have to. So why I'm saying you have to, when you are going to, you have to add object mode in object. You have to add an object in object mode, because let's say I'm in the edit mode. If I add an object, let's add an cube, and let's go back into object mode. These both things are one, so there is no anything. So this is the plane, which is the room. So the cube is combined with this. So I have to go back into the. So if accidentally you do this, you just have to do one thing. Just click on P, separate, which is a separate, and selection, which is going to select. Now we have the two geometries. Now we have a separate um, cube. Now so we have three views. If you go like this, you can't see the exact view. And if you go like this, you can't see the exact side view, and you can't see the exact. You can see, but it's not very mathematical or very up to the mark. For that, you have to click on 1, 3, and 7. So let's go on 7 and scale this up. So I scale this up for a table size. So this green line is y-axis. I know from here as well that this green line is where this green. That's why I said you don't need to remember what is where is x-axis, where is y-axis, because you know that this green one is y-axis and this red one is x-axis. Sorry. So let's asset and y. And now I have locked the scale into the y. So let's decrease it down to the size of our table. Yes, this is nice. But we have this now. Not a problem. Uh, so what we can do now here that I can push it up and in object mode scale it down. But I don't usually do that because you don't know that from where you pick that object. So what I do is when you click on the forward slash, it's going to isolate that object for you. Now I can do stuff. So I go into the edit mode, click this face, G, Z, and reduce it. Now again click on the forward slash, you know, it's going to unisolate the thing. Object, G, Z down, some side, nice. So this is the tabletop, very basic. And let's create the 4x. 7, Control A, cylinder because it's cylinder. Yes. Now when you create any object in the Blender, you get these little pop-ups here. These are the uh, menu for the object. So now I have added a cylinder. उसका radius is 1 meter, उसका depth is 2 meter, and the vertices is 32. मतलब there are 32 faces into this and 32 vertices into this. I can reduce the higher the vertices count, the more it is going to take the computing power, like samples. Sorry, and I didn't include that as well. The more faces you have, the more geometry you add into your scene, the more computing power it's going to take. So let's reduce it to very visible numbers because nobody is going to see your table X. So 6 or 8 would be great. Now here we have 8 vertices, and let's reduce it and place it here. Cool. So now we have like let's you can see that object is a little down. You can go into the wireframe mode, which is going to remove every face, and you can see only the wires. So now I can like exactly put that. If you press control while moving an object, is going to lock that into little grids. So let's lock it up, and you know exactly you are here. So let's go into the again to the solid mode. You can also toggle between these with Z. So if you click on Z, you get the render mode, the material preview, wireframe. These other I have activated some plugins. So let's go into the object mode. Click on this face. Press 1 so we can get the side view. Key Z, and here we go. So we have the 1 lakh now. Great. Now I can do two things. I can use modifiers to duplicate these legs, or I can like manually uh, shift D and okay, shift D. Wait a second, but it's not working. I don't know. Okay, Alt D. Oh, it's not duplicating.
Bro,
So
how does Spline
yeah.
differ from Blender?
What? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Spline. There is a software called Spline, 3D software.
Yeah. So Spline is a web-based tool, I guess, and it's very good if you're starting as a beginner. It gives you a lot of insights about the working in 3D workspace without like downloading this heavy software. So it's very user friendly if you are into. You can try it. People are creating amazing stuff with that, but that don't render very realistic stuff. It uses some kind of render engine or gaming engine, stuff like that. But it's very good if you're starting out as a 3D artist and you don't have a very powerful computer.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
And let's use any modifier. So this is the modifier tab, and let's choose the mirror modifier. So mirror modifier is going to mirror the object. They are not going to create a new geometry. So it's not going to create a new geometry, but it's going to create the reflections of the same object, which means we don't have to uh, kill a RAM or CPU. So how it works, you have to create. Okay, so we have the duplicates here. How I got to know that there are a lot of duplicates? You see this kind of shading type of, this is called Z fighting. Z fighting is happen when you place two objects in the same places. So if I click it and key X, yeah, we have two duplicates. I don't know why I wasn't able to separate that, but yeah, if you see this kind of shading happening when you see, probably you have two objects here. Yeah, there are a lot of objects. So let's create let's apply the mirror modifier, and I have to choose this object, which means is going to take reference of the tabletop and going to reflect along it. So I've created, and let's say you have this here on the, so I've choose the x-axis, which is the x-axis, and it is going to reflect it on the x-axis on the same plane. If I choose y, now we have the four tabletops without a lot of hassle. The fun part with working with uh, modifiers is they do a very good job than human eyes. So if I see that यहाँ से थोड़ा कम है, यहाँ से थोड़ा ज़्यादा है, I can do that adjustment and it's going to reflect on these as well. So let's do it, and you can see it is reflecting on those as well. So you don't have to do a lot of manual work. Yeah, this is how easy 3D is. People scare a lot. So we have a tabletop, 4 legs, a room. Let's add a glass, I guess. Yeah. So click on the tabletop, go into the edit mode, click the uppermost table layer, the face, click Shift S and cursor on the selected. So when you are adding a object in the Blender, it always going to add that object on the cursor. So wherever your cursor is, it is going to create that on the cursor. So I will place. So what I told the Blender that इस फेस के सेंटर में आ जाओ the cursor को. So how do you do that? If you place any other face, let's say I choose date, and I told that I tell that so cursor to get here, it's going to like get here. It is going to work on the vertices as well. So if I choose a vertices, let's say this one, and I say that वो यहाँ पे भी आ जाएगा, and if I choose a vertice, it is going to come on the vertices. So this is how it works. So let's choose the face, your face, this further, and it is going to line that in the center. Let's add an glass. So how glass? What is the structure of a glass? If anybody can told me, like it's a square, cylinder, circle, like cube, or how glass look like? Very similar to which object we have here in the menu. How
A cylinder.
yeah. So let's add a cylinder, and it's a very big one. But I know that when you are adding on a surface, it is going to add like 1 meter up and 1 meter down. So if I go in the side view, this is a very pro tip. Don't do like G, Z, up, down, just G, Z, and 1 meter up. It is going to place that 1 meter on top exactly where you want it. So let's reduce it down. Okay, control G, Z1. Oh my, wait a second. G, Z1. Yeah, enter. Always find enter. Select it, and this is how it happening. मतलब आपने वहाँ पे set किया था, but it is not going to scale that on that face. How if you like see it very closely, it is pulling from the pivot point. So we have a little pivot point in the center of the bit. We can always adjust that. So we know we have the cursor on the मतलब exactly वहाँ पे है जहाँ पे हमें pivot point चाहिए. So we can move the pivot point there. Just click on the object, set origin to 3D cursor, and it is going to pull that in the grid. Now if you scale that up, it is going to scale on the surface where you want it to. Let's scale it down. I guess this is a good big glass. Let's scale it up. So if you scale it up now, you don't need a GZ or anything. You need GZ, but it is not going to like scale on both sides. We're only going to scale on the top side. So GZ1 or GZ only, and make it a little bigger. We have a little opening space, or ये ऊपर से थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा होती है space. So let's go into the edit mode. Select that face as, scale that up. I'm looking pretty good. Now we can do one thing. We can 7 Z, and we can like do this and easy, and it's going to create the glass boundaries. But this is very like hectic part. This need a lot of practice, and you can't get it on the same as well. So what I do, and this is going to, because we are adding more geometry, more faces in the object. These are the new faces. These are the new faces, and this is all. ये सब मतलब register हो रहा है in your RAM, and it taking a lot of RAM. So what I usually do, I delete that. Okay. X and yeah, delete. We have a face. So face. It's going to delete the face on the top. But this is very thin. If you probably try to drink from this glass, you probably like cut your face. So let's add some depth without adding real depth. Go into the object mode, apply the scale because we have scaled it a lot. Apply the scale. And let's choose a modifier. This modifier is called solidify, obviously by the name. It solidify the object. So choose the solidify, and you can already see this. So if I hide this, there is not a lot of geometry, and it's adding geometry. Let's make it a little bigger. Yeah, seems fine to me. There are two values in the minus and the plus. If you go in the plus side, it's going to like on the opposite side of the main geometry, and in the minus, it's going to like in inner side of the geometry. So we have a 3D room, tabletop, like a glass, and now let's add some color to these. For adding color, we don't call it color in the Blender, we call it materials, and you probably need to go into the material preview tab. You can click here, or you can like G, like a pro. Now you are in the defaultly Blender give you this very grayish white color, but you can modify it. Let's like color the walls and the whole room first. So click on it, go here, which is called material properties. Go here and add a new material. So let's add a new material. What should we color it? Anybody can give me a nice color. Anything blue, purple, red. Okay, so you want it to be a red room. Let's add a red color, and we have a lot of other properties as well. The metallic, if I increase that, is going to add a lot of metallicism. We can't see it is in the material preview, but we can obviously see it. Then there is a reference which is defaultly on 50. Let's increase it up. There are a lot of other things. This is a very high thing, high level advanced thing, but you only need to play with this base color with metallicism and roughness, and probably if you are working with glass materials, which we are going to work on this, and you need transmission as well. So we added a color here, red color. Table किस color का होता है? Anybody? Also, we need to name the,
Brown.
yeah,
Brown, yeah, white.
yeah, cool. We can give the top white like marblish and the legs probably. So always name your material. So as a beginner, I do this a lot. That when you're working on a very big room or with a lot of materials, you made materials. These materials are usable. If I click on this, click here, I can use the material, red material. But if you are working with a lot of materials, you probably should name them, because then you can like search them up here and find them easily instead of material 001. So let's name that up. You can click here, double click here, or just click here and just name red. Tabletop and white marblish type of color. Base color, let's pump it up to 100% white. Introduce a little bit metallic and reduce the roughness. You can get a little shiny surface. It's done. Let's name it as marble top for marble. Let's round. Okay, create the roughness. Done. The most uh, anticipated part, the how to create glass. If you can see, it's still very shiny. You can see the shine on the metallic, but you can't see the shine on the wall because we have higher value of roughness here, and the surface is very rough, but we have a lower value of roughness here, as well as we have introduced a metallicism. You can also modify this geometry a little more stylism. We can do that. It's a little advanced, but just for fun. Click on this, Control R, double. So we are adding loop cut. Enter. Just click here, Alt, and click on the edge. It is going to like select everything. Key, and it's going to add a little funny geometry here. Yeah, how it looks a little fancy and a little bit expensive. So let's add material for. So how you create glass material in Blender? You have to form the pipe to like on the way up, which is probably the FFFF X value is FFF 6 times. And now you have to go into the transition and increase the transition. So there are two like you have to like probably stretch that up to see the transition and transmission roughness. I usually what happens with me, I usually increase this value and I can't see glass. Then I come back and see, oh my god, this. So always increase the first transmission, like from it to 100%. So in 100% is one. Two. In material preview, you can't see the materials on their real state size, because this is how the EV works. So we are working in EV. The default the default engine for the material preview is EV. You can't change it here. I've selected. Okay. So if you go into the render preview and increase it to cycles, let me check the GPU, adaptive sampling, network optics. It is going to take some time. So every time you set this up, it's going to like pull up all the kernels. Please don't crash. As I say, this may take a few minutes for the first time. This is a bug or something, I guess. Expect, okay, not responding. Pain point. Thank you. We have successfully crashed the Blender. So yeah, it's off again. And finger crossed, this happen. This is going to happen with you a lot when you're working with a lot of materials. But Blender has your back. You can go here, recover, auto save, and we probably have saved. Okay, don't have that. We can recover. Let's open the file because everything we have done is same. We have introduced, so remove the things I haven't added. So this is probably the same setting. Uh, the material is same with the transmission 100%, with the face color throughout the way of white.
How the glass is more curved.
Yeah. So what happened here? I have applied a shade smooth to this. If I shade flat this up, this is how it looks, you know. And when you, so I do this a lot. I was going to explain that in that file, but no issues. I've like applied it here as well and here as well. Shade flat. So when you shade flat, you see all the vertices, but when you shade smooth, you see everything smooth. It is again not smoothing that up. It is just showing you that it's smooth. The geometry is still the same. It's still all the vertices, but Blender is kind of pseudoing the whole effect of smoothing, but is also going to render in your final render as well. So you can do this. Mostly time you need to so mostly time you have to, when you apply shade smooth, you have to go in this area and click here auto smooth. If I don't click auto smooth, you get this shading here. So just click auto smooth. It's going to take care of the shading as well. So we have all the materials. Again, let's go into the material preview. We have a lot of other colors. Let's change the colors. Change it to red. Change it to white. Okay, so now we are using the same material of wood on the legs and on the um, tabletop as well. If I try to change on the tabletop, it is going to affect everything, every object using the same color. If I like change everything, it's going to change everything. How you tackle with this? Let's control C. How you tackle with this? You have to click here. So now we can duplicate that material. It's now duplicated. Click here. So every mistake I'm doing, it is like teaching you a lot of stuff which probably I'm not able to share. So let's go here and reduce the saturation so we get the pure white, reduce the roughness so we can get a little shiny, increase the metallic to get a lot of shiny. Uh, it's good now, I guess. Let's create light. So if we go into the render preview, this is probably into the blend cycles. Yeah, cycles. So if we go into the cycles now, we can't see because there is a lot of darkness. We have to introduce light here. Let's introduce the light. How you introduce light? Click on the same buttons. Uh, Shift A. Let's add a light and let's try every light how they are working. So let's place but area light. So as I said earlier, when you introduce a new object in the Blender, it is going to place that on your cursor. So let's grab that file G and okay GZ. So now we have the light here. Let's size that up and increase the intensity also. You only see the light setting when you click a light. So if I click other object, I can't see the light setting. You have to click on the light and now you have this new option of light. It's 10 watt. Let's increase it to about 10,000 watts. Going to blow that up. So this is a real, like in real life, if you get 10,000 watts of light, this is how it's going to look up. So let's reduce that up. Yeah, this is pretty fine. So 1,000 volt bulb. This is how it works. So I have introduced area light and why we use area light to reduce the shadowing. If I size that out, the more choti hogi, the more intense shadows we have in the real life. So let's increase that up so we can have a lot less shadowing, less intense shadows, and so this is rendering now. As you can see, this is rendering now on 32 samples. I can decrease the sample so to 12. So it's going to reduce that into 12. But as you can see, we have a lot of noise now as compared to like what we have on the 32 samples. So this is it's going to be easy on my system, but not the quality. And we don't want quality in viewport setting, viewport scene. We only like just want to check how light is working. And this is the area light. Click on it. You can change the light to spotlight, and this is how a spotlight works. Sunlight is going to like crazy, and this is the point light. Point light is a little. If you increase the radius, same like area light, it is going to like less intensify the shadows. So let's go with the area light, and we have a area light. We need some space here, like little something here. But now जब हम render करेंगे, it's going to render that area as a PNG, nothing else. Let's go back into the shading property and add a plane. Plane, size that up a lot. But as you can see, the plane is indexing Z fighting with the object. Yeah. Go 1, 3, grab that up. Z and okay. E Z, little down. Don't touch that up with it. Go just a little down. And now we don't have Z, but now we don't have the Z fighting here in the scene. We have a camera here. Let's introduce a camera. So you can introduce a camera, but I have a plugin sort of thing. Let's just manually do a camera, right camera. So we have a camera. We see up, and if we see from the camera how the thing looks, you have to press on 0, and you can see through the camera. And let's log the scene to the camera view. Camera to the view. Now we can place the check according to the. But with this, what will happen that you don't know every time कि आपका camera how you are setting. So every render you are going to create, you can't replicate the exact uh, exact area in your system or in your workspace. That no like you probably get a 1 pixel or 2 pixel of a thing. So that's why I have a plugin here. So these are kind of plugin which we known as add-ons here. And I have a PR isocam. Let's introduce a game isocam. And it's going to create the camera on the same exact thing every time. So let's create a camera and yeah, every time on the same. You just have to little space that up so it's little. Probably have my settings on 13, a little zoomed in. Everything else is fine. Now let's see the render. Very good render. Let's color the little area something. Let's add a new material. Give it a little yellow. Yeah, looking nice. So now we have a now let's it's done now. It's good. You know? And yeah, let me show you the glass material as well. As you can see, glass is very transparent now. If I choose that up, I'll go into the, I said you know there are two settings, transmission and transmission roughness. Again, that is going to add the roughness. If you want a little rough glass, you can increase the value. It is going to create a rough glass, kind of plastic, both plasticky glass. We don't want that. You might need 0.1. My like little good. Yeah, it's good. This is how you see things in cycles, and let me show you how you see things in same environment, same lighting, same color, same materials, and we shift it to Eve. And this is how you see things in Eve. You can optimize it ambient, inclusion, depth of field, subsurface, but it's not going. As you can see, every time I'm uh, modifying or editing with the surface, it is going like calculating the light. It is not recreating the light. It is just calculating it with their algorithms they have. But we don't want that. We want real life examples or real life uh, renders. So just click on the cycles and yeah. Now we have the render and let's render it out. So we have our camera set, everything is beautiful, lighting is beautiful, our glass is beautiful. So let's go into the solid mode and click here, render, or you can click on F12 as well, render and render image. But before doing that, let's see what settings we have here. So we have 128 pixel samples, which is a very less. So if I increase that up, नहीं रहने दो, probably going to crash the blender. Let's increase that up a little bit, like 150. So we can't, so we don't have to wait a lot. Render that up, and it is going to render it now. Again, it is going to load the render kernel. First time it probably going to take a lot of time, but let's wait. Let's see how it came. It's going to take a lot of time. Any question? Meanwhile, anything?
What if we need to create a element which is made up of not a basic shape?
Not a basic shape, something like any
Wine
like
glass.
wine glass. You have
Or
to
Like waves.
waves, like water waves. Uh,
Yes.
you don't have to create that with like modifying the real mesh. You can do them with if I go in the modifier, we probably have a wave modifier as well, fluid like ocean modifier. So just take a plane, apply that modifier, and it is going to apply the water waves on it. So modifiers are really good if you know how to use them. You are like proest of the pro. So you can do most of the time if you are work like if you want a wine glass, you have to like go here and work really hard. Not really hard. It's very fun. You have to create like modify this in the whiteboard, like add a geometry and do all the stuff. Once you get the hang of it, you can do anything. If you see my renders, they are pretty basic shapes and not very hectic. See, they are rendering.
like if we have to add elements like to create a milk cup, so we need a handle. So how to add a handle to a glass?
You have to make that handle. You can.
After, yeah, handle can be made by like cylindrical and
Hmm.
then curved, but how to join the both glass and that?
You probably don't need to join the real geometries. Yeah. You don't need to add real geometries. You can like this is a room. Let's render here. See if it's render. Yeah, it's rendering. So I have saved like one and it's going to render. So this is fast. According to your graphics card, according to your CPU, it is going to render the skin up. This is pro. Thank God this one is working. And let's play a little bit. Let's shut down the denoising and see if we render a scene without denoising, how it looks like on a very low scale. This is a very less sample. Do that out. Yeah, as you can see, there is a lot of uh, noise here. And to tackle this noise, I have to increase the sample rate, but it is going to affect my um, computing power. So to tackle everything with less computing power, you have to enable the denoising. This is render sample denoising on optics because I have a graphic card of NVIDIA. That's why I'm going with optics. If you are like uh, rendering it on Intel, you probably should wanna go with OpenImage denoiser, which is from Intel and optic is from NVIDIA. Let's render that up and see what happens. It's probably going to render that up and एक ही बार में it's going to denoise. Now we have a lot smooth denoising here. So this is how you render stuff in Blender. You can again choose the size of your export. Uh, right now I have a 1080 by 1080. You can increase it to 2K, 4K, anything you want. But again, it is going to take your computing power. So let's render this scene, export this. Let's see how this works. So I have rendered this scene now. And if you are rendering a lot of scene like I do, I render test a lot. So for render test, I do one render, then go into the slot 2. And in slot 2, I render the sam again with a little modification to the scene, to the lightning. Now I have two samples, two renders, short one. This is short one and this is short two again because we don't modify anything in the scene. That's why it's kind of same. This could be short one. Then you have to go into the image, save, wait, image save as, and the menu will pop up, and here we get the compression. I probably had like most of the time I had this on 98 or around because the compression of Blender is very good. On 8 if I'm posting it on social media, 16 if I'm saving it for my personal use, RGB and anything. You can choose a lot of. So most of the time it's PNG and save as, and it's going to save the file. This is how amazing Blender is. And that's it. Let me show you my other work. Let's say jump in my computer, documents, and this is my first render. This is my first render. Again, horrible lightning, and then I asked one of my friends if he can help me. He's very good with Blender, and he adjusted my lighting, and then this is the first render I posted on internet. Then I started with a lot of. This is a Stranger Thing. If you know Stranger Thing, I created a little Stranger Thing. This is the Mind Slayer, and this is a House of Ten cycle cap of the character, one of the character, and you can do like pretty crazy stuff.
How did you created the cycle in that?
You have to create everything. You have to create everything. Let me show you that
Oh,
file if I had that. Stranger Things. Yeah, this is how the scene looks. And this is a very advanced stuff. I had this fog in the scene, uh, and this is the cycle you're talking. This is the cycle I've created. You have to create every single stuff. This is a very detailed one, but you can do a lot like simple stuff as well. I like putting a lot of time. That's why I do this. I want to create it realistic as well as so the plants, these trees are not very realistic. This is the demo. This is the mind layer. Little bit under the fog. So when I see it from the camera and render that scene out, um, this is how God that. This is the fog, and we can't see the. Wait a second. this is a fog and you can't see the legs and other things. Because I want it to be little dramatic. That's why. One of other scene is this gaming setup. You can see I used to render a lot of renders, but later I found out you can save that up in those slots. So this is how you learn things. This is a render I did. Uh, this is the hostel room. Went viral. Wait, this one. Later I realized I don't have the opening to cup. It's very full. So you do these little mistakes every time. I used to have these posters in my room, and yeah. Nowadays I'm rendering very high profile. This is the Doraemon room I created. Uh, the chess room. Nowadays I create very high quality renders like this one. This is a designer room I did. Uh, this is a so I pushed really hard into this thing. I pushed like really hard, and on the next day I realized that I worked really hard, at it, but people are not able to see the details here. They don't able to see the material like what I'm seeing here. So what I did, I rendered like very close shots, detailed shots of the scene with the camera, and that same tiny room. This is from the same tiny room. This is how crazy it. The material is very realistic. Marshall speaker, that coffee chemics. You can add so the quality of shallow depth of field you get from the so this is probably a f1.4 aperture I get. That's why I'm getting very high quality depth of field. This is the full view of the scene. You can see it's very uh, crazy stuff. That there is an iPhone as well. Nobody did notice that. Uh, Flowers, the wallpapers, and the wall. So you can see the materials are really advanced. This is called PBR materials. You can uh, learn about these and to the techno and like that's it. Uh, so this is recently I created the Hagrid hut of the Hagrid from the Harry Potter. This is a very advanced kind of render. The trees are very detailed. The every grass. This is a very high detail. And what I did later day I changed the lighting a bit. Uh, and converted that scene into a night scene. So this is how cool Blender is. You can do a lot. So yeah,
Yeah.